Hey everybody, I'm Benjamin, aka The Terrible Australian at supermarsio.com. Welcome to my video review of Oscar-winning director Michael Moore's latest documentary, Where to Invade Next. So let's get right into it. Now, I actually do enjoy Michael Moore's documentaries. Like, I understand all the problems everybody has with him and whatnot. And I do agree, a lot of his documentaries do have an agenda behind them. And I'm fully aware of that, just for the record. But I still enjoy them anyway, because even though, whether they're sort of 100% factual or not, they're still really interesting and very informative documentaries that, that sort of touch on pretty relevant stuff that's happening in our society, but at the same time approaching it in a thought-provoking way, and also a very humorous way as well. So so in a way, I was definitely, in that regard, I was looking forward to his latest film, Where to Invade Next, which, I have to say, just like most of his other documentaries, I really enjoyed this one as well. I thought it was a really interesting, sort of insightful documentary on how, because the basis of this documentary is Michael Moore goes to Europe, goes to many countries across Europe, and delves into sort of how each country, some of the countries he's visit, how they approach education, healthcare, sex, equality, work, and many other issues in comparison to the United States. And to me, it was interesting in a lot of ways, because even though I'm fully aware of sort of the problems that are in regards to those topics that are happening in the US, even some of those things are sort of happening here in Australia as well, in some of them anyway. And sort of in that way, sort of watching Michael Moore go to a lot of these countries, sort of finding out how they sort of deal with some of these topics in a way that sort of enriches the people of that country and also enriches the people as well, and makes life for everyone better than it is in other countries, from countries in the Western world. And it was fascinating to me as a viewer. So even with one country in particular, in regard to education, they're sort of the top, sort of had probably the best education of any country in the entire world. And how they approach it is that instead of doing it from basically many hours during the day, it's only a few hours a day, no homework for the students, and that way the students, despite the less workload, the students learned much more than they did if they were just sitting in a classroom all day and having to do tons of homework when they get home. And to me, that was really interesting. And also how in Italy, how the sort of, when they regards to work, how they sort of, to them, it's a good work, a happy worker is a good worker, in terms of if they go on holidays, they sort of get paid leave on holidays and whatnot. And to me, it was just, and also in some countries on how they approach their healthcare and education. And even there's one country, Slovenia, that offers free university for anyone who enters. And so many students from all over the world come to this university so they can learn and not have to worry about paying student fees and whatnot. And to me, that was just really fascinating, on how, some of these sort of ideas are working in these countries, and if anything, it's sort of in making things better for everyone, for those countries and for everyone who's sort of a part of that. It just makes it seem like it's work. They're doing it for the well-being of everyone involved, and it's making pretty much life in those countries better. And sort of Michael Moore sort of explores all those, while also trying to see how some of these ideas would benefit the US as well. And as you sort of watch the film, you kind of see that a lot of these ideas sort of sprung up from the US, and that these European countries sort of took those on, went further with them, but unfortunately but unfortunately the US kind of went back on some of them, took a few steps back on some of them. So to me, it was a really fascinating documentary, and also it's very entertaining as well. It's also quite funny as well, and just kind of, in a way, seeing Michael Moore, him being shocked by seeing how all these different approaches to these topics is shocking to him, because and how they sort of how they've been able to make them work. And yeah, it's a really good documentary. I definitely recommend it. Whether you're a sort of a Michael Moore fan or not, I definitely think this is one that's worth watching. Like, yeah, it does have a bit of an agenda to it, but overall, it's a film that's well intended, and you can definitely feel Michael Moore's passion for this film in terms of him wanting to make America a better country than it already is. So, I mean, you can see a lot of love of that in the film, and it just shines through. Well, it shined through to me as a viewer. So, overall, I really liked Where to Invade Next. I thought it was a really good documentary. Not up there as one of his best, but it's still pretty damn good nonetheless. So, if I had to give this film a rating, I give it 4 stars. So yeah, that's the end of my video review of Where to Invade Next. I hope you guys all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later. See you everyone. Bye.